Hello everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Joe and I'm an independent cloud consultant based in Sydney, Australia. This is a video series which will help you prepare for your Azure AI Engineer Associate certification. We will go through questions very similar to the exam and discuss in detail each and every options provided. Before we dive into the question, I would highly recommend a basic understanding of Azure AI services to understand what we are going to discuss. Now, regarding me, I just watched one training to prepare for the exam, and with the help of that training, I passed the exam in the very first attempt. Although you can follow any trainings, I would highly recommend this one. I'll provide the link of the above said training in the description box. So let's get into the video. Now to the format of the question. A requirement will be provided and you have to choose the appropriate steps in the correct order to meet that requirement. The question is, you have a custom vision resource each in dev and prod environment. You have trained an image classification model named MyTestModel in MyProject on dev. To deploy MyTestModel to prod, which three actions should you perform in sequence? Now the options: in dev, use the ExportProject endpoint. In dev, use the GetProjects endpoint. In prod, use the ImportProject endpoint. In dev, use the ExportIteration endpoint. In dev, use the GetIterations endpoint. In prod, use the UpdateProject endpoint. Let us break down the question. What are the key points in the question? So it is regarding a custom vision resource and you have a model and there are two environments present. One is the dev and the other is prod. Now the classification model is present in the dev environment. Now you have to deploy the same model in the prod environment. So which three actions should we perform? That is the question. So what are the steps to follow to deploy a model present in one environment to the other environment? Which all steps we have to follow? Now let us get into the Microsoft documentation. Now what is a custom vision model or what is custom vision? Azure AI Custom Vision is an image recognition service that lets you build, deploy and improve your own image identifier models. Custom Vision will allow you to upload your images and train the model. Later, you can deploy it for your use case. That is what Custom Vision is. Now, what we need is how to copy and backup your Custom Vision projects. How can we do that? How can you copy your Custom Vision project from one environment to another? That is the requirement. So let us go through the documentation. So after you have created and trained a custom vision project, you might want to copy your project to another resource. That is exactly what we need. We need to copy our project to another resource or another environment. These steps can be used to copy custom vision models from one account in one region to another region. So it can be used to copy from one region to another region. Okay. Now the ExportProject and ImportProject APIs enable this scenario by allowing you to copy projects from one custom vision account into others. So note this line: the ExportProject and ImportProject APIs enable this scenario by allowing you to copy projects from one custom vision account into others. So these are the two APIs we need. Now, what is the process to copy the project? First, you have to get the ID of the project. So in an account, there may be multiple projects. So first we have to get the ID of the project which we need to copy. For that, we have to call the GetProjects API. So first we'll call the GetProjects endpoint and then we'll get the list of all the projects present in that account. And then we'll get the ID of the project in your source account you want to copy. That is, our source account is dev. So first we have to get the ID of the project by calling the GetProjects API. The next step is then you call the ExportProject API using the project ID of the project and the training key of your source account. You will get a temporary token string. So now we have to call the ExportProject API with all these parameters. The next is we have to call the ImportProject API using the token string and the training key of your target account. So you want to call this API using the token string and the training key of your target account, which is our prod account. The project will then be listed under your target account. So these are the steps to follow to copy a project from one account to another account. So let us get back into the question. Now, which 3 actions should you perform to satisfy the requirement? First step is to, in dev, use the GetProjects endpoint and get the ID of your project which you want to copy. After that, in dev, use the ExportProject endpoint. Then the final step is, in prod, use the ImportProject endpoint. So these are the 3 steps to follow. Now there are other options here which says ExportIteration endpoint, GetIterations endpoint, UpdateProject endpoint. Let us have a look what these are. So first is ExportIteration. It is to export a trained iteration. So what is an iteration? In Azure Custom Vision, an iteration refers to a version of a trained model. Every time you train a model with new images, it creates a new iteration, improving the model's accuracy and performance. So if we have to export an iteration, we have to call this endpoint. And then next is GetIterations API, which will get team's iteration by iteration ID. It is to get the ID of the iteration. And UpdateProject API, this API updates project settings in Custom Vision. So if you want to know in detail about each of these API, I'll provide this link in the description box. Now, what did we learn from this question? We learned how to copy a Custom Vision project from one environment to another. Thanks for watching the video. For more content and videos, please subscribe to this channel and hit the like button.